So for our genetic project, we went ahead and chose stem cell research. So Ashlee, Kelsey, Viviane, and I put this together. And for a little bit of an overview, Ashlee is going to talk to us.
Hi, I'm Ashlee. I will be giving a brief introduction to the topic of stem cells and what they are. So stem cells are basically the building block of the human body. So these cells are also undifferentiated. This means that they have the ability to become virtually any type of cell needed in the body. So there are two types of stem cells. There are embryonic and there are adult stem cells. So embryonic stem cells can be pulled from the embryo in the womb. They can also be pulled from amniotic fluid. So embryonic stem cells are more universal than adult stem cells because they have not yet been assigned a function. So these ones are more universal and can be transformed to a wider array of cells needed in the body. Now, adult stem cells, they are less universal because, so say you pull stem cells from the liver, well, those stem cells are probably going to be used for the same function for the liver. Not only are they less universal in use, adult stem cells are also harder to obtain, so they're a little more rare because we have to think of things like organ donation in order to be able to use stem cells from an adult body. Stem cells are used in today's medicine. They are used in things like in vitro fertilization and bone marrow transplant. And stem cells are also in everybody's body. They're not in every single type of tissue, in every single organ, but they are in a majority of the body. So the stem cells not only can be used to recreate and reproduce cells, they can also be used for healing purposes. So say you get a cut on your arm, these stem cells are triggered and they are what is rebuilding that tissue and healing the wound. So I also have Kelsey and Viviane to go further into detail into the pros and cons of using stem cells in medicine. Thank you.
So next we will hear from Kelsey, who is for stem cell research. So this is going to be the beginning of our debate.
So my name's Kelsey and I'm for stem cell research because there's like many positives to it. It requires only a small number of cells. There's no difference in cells being successful based on the timing or the term of the disease. Stem cells transplants are successful regardless of the duration of the disease, so it doesn't matter what term that the disease has progressed, and stem cells will still work. The government may provide partial expenses so that it can be more affordable for everybody, even if you don't have good health insurance.
And next, we will hear from Viviane, who is against stem cell research. So this is just a little bit against what Kelsey was saying.
My name is Viviane, and I'm against using stem cells because it's a lot of risk that we are taking when we are using stem cells during some experiment. Some medical professionals are unsure if the transplant will be rejected or no, and then we have some high risk to research patients like tumor formation, inappropriate stem cell migration, rejection of stem cells, hemorrhage during surgery, and we can also have some post-operative complications when we are trying to use stem cells.
And then for the next topic, we're going to be talking about how stem cells can be used to cure diseases and disorders.
Stem cell research has been proven to cure diseases and disorders. It can be used to help cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, and that's just naming a few. There's multiple others. It's the only curative therapy for sickle cell disease. It may hold the answer to a cure for other various diseases.
So now Viviane will kind of give a little bit of a retort to what Kelsey just said.
It is not 100% recommend to use stem cell to cure any kind of disease because it induces pluripotent stem cells. Viruses are used. Stem cells are used for ensuring reproduction, insufficient for method for ensure reproducibility and survivability, and it can cause some cancer.
And for the next topic, we'll be talking about the pros and cons of organ and tissue repair.
Organ and tissue repair for stem cell research. It can promote wound healing and decrease formation of scars. It stimulates the in vivo differentiation, cells taken from healthy tissue of the same individual, and differentiates into a new tissue for organ and tissue repair. It coordinates in repair response and cell replacement and gene therapies.
Despite the clinical potential of stem cells to participate in repairing tissue, there are also potential risks of using stem cells, like the type of the stem cells that we are using, their differentiation status, the proliferation capacity, the intended location. The identified risks of potential include the tumor formation and some unwanted immune response and the transmission of the adventitious agents. Based on all these characteristics, we can conclude that there is a high risk when we are using stem cells as tissue repair or organ repair.
And then just some other benefits of using stem cells.
Studies have proven that stem cell therapy has minimal side effects for the procedure, and there's possible use for embryonic treatment.
And Viviane will give a retort to what Kelsey just said.
Some study has shown that agile stem cells are extremely painful to harvest from the individuals. Embryo is destroyed when harvesting embryonic marrows, and we can view this as destruction of life. So it is not really recommended to use stem cells. Thank you.
So in conclusion, you can see that there are lots of pros and lots of cons to using stem cells. So whenever a medical provider is deciding whether or not to use stem cells for a patient, they need to see if the pros do outweigh the cons, and if there will be any ethical issues that come in the way of that. And stem cell research is being continued, and it will probably continue for a while since there are a lot of unknown things about stem cells. Thank you for listening. And here are our sources.